Hey everybody, what's going on? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Seven of Pentacles. I'm seeing the Sun. I'm seeing justice. Okay. You can feel well aware of what to do here. With the Seven of Pentacles, this is something that you can feel like is stopping shorter than what you were planning to do here, what you were planning to carry out. So it's a process that can feel with the Seven of Pentacles kind of like it's not totally complete. But then having the Sun and having justice can be recognizing that if you're going to do what's right for you here, and most honorable for yourself, it looks like actually stepping away from this. You can be at a point too where it would feel pointless for you to continue, because the part of the reason why we invest in things in the first place is because it is feeding something within us. With that Eight of Cups, you can be at this point where it's not going to do that. And so you can look at this and be like, okay, clearly this is what to do. I'm not saying that this is wanted. This would be the feeling of what's appropriate here for you. With justice, this is knowing what's going to be right for you versus what's not going to be right for you. And this is becoming obvious and apparent with Sun and Justice. I know what to do here. I know what the move is to be making. Again, doesn't always mean like we want to be doing that, but you can know for the situation, this is what's appropriate here. And this is the right call. I'm getting specifically. I'm hearing prized possession. You can want to see too what else the universe has for you, where things are going to lead. Because I feel like even knowing that you were taking this on was a chance in the first place to be doing. What you maybe have recognized moving through this is the ways that you've developed going through this type of process. Having justice and having Ten of Swords feels like just the karmic justice of this coming to an end at this point. Like this must be done. When we have justice too, it can mean that it's not always the easiest thing for us to be doing in this situation, but we have to be with ourselves at the end of the day. And so you make a choice with that Ten of Swords to do what needs to be done here. I want to highlight this again for like the third or fourth time. It is not necessarily the easy or desirable thing to do this, but the reason why we would honor justice is because we know that we will feel out of balance with ourselves if we do not act in this way. If we do not act on what we know to be true for ourselves, we will be dismissing something important within us, and there will be a dysregulation because of that. And we will suffer the consequences ultimately of that, emotionally, mentally, physically even. So this can be a time where you're recognizing what's really important to you. And this can be something that's really taught you a lot about your standards and about your values going through this. It can be a time when you're showing up for yourself, maybe in a way that you never have. This situation has really encouraged that, inspired that within you. So even though you can be looking at this and saying, I feel like this is stopping short, I didn't even feel like I was finished, or I thought that this would continue longer than that, I can't believe it's coming to an end. At the same time, you can know that this is just where the situation has gone to. And I feel again like you knew stepping into this that you didn't necessarily know what was going to happen. It feels like a chance that you took doing this. It might work out, it might not work out, it might last this long, it might not last that long. You didn't really know going into it, and now it just feels like time where you've assessed what you've assessed from this, and you know that it's time to pick up and to carry on. Because there can be some type of disparity or inequality if you would continue to engage in this, and that may not be a position that you want to be putting yourself in. I'm hearing obviously. So Maybe you feel too like you'd rather be investing in something else, something worthwhile to you, and this is not it. And you know too that this is showing up for that part of yourself that you really do want to feel connected with what you're doing here. And if you're doing something from a place other than it being right for you, what is that going to be encouraging? Like, what type of experience will you be having then? And it can be something that you really don't want to be experiencing. And this is about knowing your heart. I get the feeling as well, like this is a sacrifice that you're making now to ensure that you connect with what you want later. Which, I mean, this can even be something that goes into effect now. You're taking action on this now. It can feel like a sacrifice now. It can also feel like I would be giving up what I really want if I didn't make this move here. And that's why it's necessary for me to be doing this, because this is the long game that you're playing here, not the short game. The short game would be to stay within a situation when you know that it's not the move anymore. This is honoring something bigger than that. So at the end of the day, you're going to feel like I'm right with myself the way that I'm moving through this. Feel like you picked up a lot going through this cycle. You learned a lot. There was a lot that you figured out. It feels even too like it could have brought some really important things to light for you as well. You could have realized something important about how you feel about the way that you feel about where you've been focusing your attention, and maybe what this brought to your attention. Feels like the things that were going on within the cycle, how you felt about those things going through the cycle. And it could have even been something that felt empowering to you. You could have realized, hey, I'm actually really good at this. Maybe you're not going to be continuing it in this situation. It can be something that you're like, I want to take this, and wherever it is that I'm going next, I want to take it and apply that. There's something here about the experience that you gained, and this being something that you can take with you. It doesn't remain in that situation untapped. This is something that you tapped into, and so you get to bring that experience with you, and it can be something that you apply in the next situation. And it feels too like this has made it very clear and obvious what you want and what you no longer want as well. And you know that to be true. And it can be a time too where you feel like you have clarity and you know what to be doing here. And if only you will trust yourself, if only you will believe in yourself, if only you will become connected with yourself and trust your instinct here, you know exactly what to be doing. And it's time for this to be happening now. I'm seeing it's a perfect time for this to be happening. I'm looking at Jupiter and the sun, and I'm also seeing justice here. Some of you, this was okay, so this can be a living situation, it can be a relationship, this can be a living situation, a relationship, it can be a work situation. It's something that would have felt like you were regularly tending to it in some way, like it would have been part of your routine, is the sense that I get from this. And it could have been something that you felt like, if I feed into this, it will allow me to feel stable. This is meant to be a stable structure within my life. So that's the description of what this investment is, what it's been about. Some of you too, I'm hearing joint custody. I feel like for some of you, you weren't the only person that was involved in this. What has this brought to your attention now? It's highlighting the direction that you're moving in. And I feel too like, even though you're still dealing with the Ten of Swords, which is everything coming to light and us accepting that something has come to an end, simultaneously, it feels like you can have hope for the future, and you can feel as well like you have made progress moving through this, and you can feel too like this illuminates where you're going. And maybe there was something about like not having there could have been like a lack of direction before, that this has instilled a sense of direction within you, or a sense of confidence within you, or it's brought some awareness about the future and what's unfolding to you. So you've gained something very important consciously moving through this process. Yeah, there was a disparity here. This means that there would have been inequality when it came to the values. So there was a lack of compatibility with you and whatever was on the other side of that. It wasn't working. So justice is here saying we have to do something about this. This is me taking initiative, recognizing that there's an inequality within this, needing to do something about that. And also you can find yourself in a situation where you have that balance, rather than feeling like I'm over giving here, or I'm taking too much. Now I feel guilty because rather than being in one of those situations, this is all about recognizing the bigger theme here that is connected with your values. When you find yourself in a situation that's compatible with your values, when you find yourself in a situation that's not compatible, and then what needs to be done. Because with the Eight of Cups, we're looking for that thing that it feels like it has that sense of balance, where there is a deep sense of contentment and fulfillment within that, because everybody's getting what they need. You recognize that's not what was happening in this, but what you're learning about is more closely when things fit, what they look like. And through this experience, when we're in situations, we learn generally one of two ways. We either find ourselves in a situation that feels very compatible and it's what we prefer and it's working, and that teaches us about what we want and what we prefer, or we find ourselves in a situation where things do not match up and it is not how we prefer things to be, and it tells us more about what we do want and what we do prefer. This is one of those situations where you see something not lining up, and then you get to decide, am I going to honor my recognition of this and what I'm really feeling in my heart here? Or am I going to throw my hands up and give up and just settle for this when you don't need to? It's unnecessary. So, march forward bravely and with the fire that this is igniting within you. Okay. Feel like too, on an energetic level, there are things on an emotional level, there are things that you learned, very valuable things that you learned within this cycle, where your knowledge, your understanding, your wisdom has expanded. I'm seeing an immense amount of experience that you gained going through this, even though you can know that there's still like so much more to gain. As far as where you are within this, I feel like there was a lot that you figured out going through this process, moving through this cycle. Wow. All right. So this has to do with some major area of your life. I'm seeing this can feel like a really big blow right now. Simultaneously, the bigger blow would be staying within this when you know that it doesn't fit with the rest of what you're building, and not honoring what you're really feeling here. Not honoring what you know to be true. So whether this was your choice or it was somebody else's choice, whatever it wasn't a right fit. This isn't losing something where there was a right fit. This is something was not the right fit, and so it's just being taken away so you can connect with the thing that's going to be the right fit. So it's a blessing. For some of you, it can feel like a blessing in disguise that's happening. Cycles will remain, cycles will continue when something is sustaining them. This was no longer sustainable. And so even though there can be a part of you that can maybe feel the missing piece of this, or feel the space or the like hole that will be created, something that is more compatible is going to fill the space of that. And how do I know that to be true? Look at all that you learned through this cycle that you just went through. And because it feels painful going through these situations, it encourages us to learn and to take notes what we experienced, so we're not setting ourselves up to go through that same cycle again. That's the point of it being painful. One of the points. So you look at this and you're like, I never want to have to go through this again. So let me take note. What's all the stuff that I learned, that I understood? Like, let me connect the dots here. So I make sure that my moves are even wiser moving forward. And things just get better and better and better. I do feel like this has clarified something very, very important, something extremely important that you have realized moving through this, that has become utterly apparent. So this has given you the gift of that, of knowing something deeply, purely within your heart that you did not know moving into this, that you have now realized. And it's going to help shape the next chapters for you in a very significant way. So trust yourself, move through this, recognize your power, and the self-respect that you have moving through this, developing that, the self-trust that you are developing, and knowing that this is a choice not to settle that you are making, knowing that things can be better. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm seeing a sunflower here. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.